Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Jack at TCoast Studios and Discount Directory, and today we have our episode on Entrepreneur's Corner. Today I have a very, very special friend and someone that I respect greatly. I think we live here in the Treasure Coast, and I'm fortunate to live here in Port Saint Lucie. I think one of the most dedicated people I know, and one of the people that loves this community more than most people and work harder than most people for this community, is this gentleman here to my left. His Honor, I like to call him His Honor, or we can call him Greg Oravec, just doing a spectacular job. Now that's my humble opinion, but I'm a pretty wise man, at least my wife says so. And Greg is just doing a superb job for us here in the city of Port Saint Lucie. Greg, welcome to Entrepreneur's Corner.
Thank you, Dr. Jack, and thank you for the gracious comments. I really appreciate your support. It's an honor to work for you and the people.
They're sincere. They're sincere. I really mean it.
I know they are, and I appreciate it.
Tell us a little about the growth that, since you've been the mayor now, how long?
Since November 2014.
Okay. Wow.
So time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Not quite, it'll be 5 years this November.
Yeah.
So a term, and I'm a term and a few months in here.
Yeah.
So 4 years plus a few months into the job.
Just spectacular. Tell the folks some of the highlights of what's happened over the past almost 5 years under your leadership and guidance of the city.
Sure. Well, what I'd want the people to know is before the people of Port Saint Lucie elected me, we were really in the depths of the Great Recession, which here in Port Saint Lucie and the Treasure Coast was truly a depression. Like if you would measure it, if you would look at the economic impact, it was more than a recession.
Yeah.
So if you would go back to the early 2000s, you would remember that Port Saint Lucie was one of the fastest growing communities in the entire country. And that's not just like, local hype. That was the U.S. Census Bureau saying, Port Saint Lucie, you're the fastest growing city in the country.
Yeah, amazing.
And of course, we were one of the highest flying, but then we were one of the hardest falling. So when 2007 detonated, it truly was terrible for the Treasure Coast, and it was deeper and longer than a lot of other places.
Yeah.
So in the Midwest, you had like the shale and the energy boom, where they just, like from that period, they everyone was impacted by the Great Recession, but the economy and things were still going well in places like that. Even here in Florida, which was really hurt by the real estate bust, places like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, they came out of the recession much sooner. And it wasn't as deep. It was much shallower for them. But here, it was, especially for inside the government and the community, and I think many of the people impacted, it was terrible. It was like Great Depression type stuff.
I remember driving through Tradition and seeing these plots that were all spec to be built on and just deserted. It was really a painful experience seeing that, and going through some of the commerce parks and just seeing empty buildings. We really were hurt at that time.
Yeah, even more than just with those plots, you would see the pipes sticking out of the ground that showed you that the utilities were in place.
Yeah.
But you had these ghost
subdivisions. They had the gate entering into the subdivision. Right. There was nothing in there. Yeah.
Kind of you can imagine a Mad Max wasteland there.
So tell us what's happened.
Yeah, so since then, 2012, we first started kind of coming out of it, but we really started hitting our stride in 14, 15, and 16. And now you could really say that we're really back, and the city is growing by leaps and bounds again. It's going to be interesting to see the census that comes out, after 2020, the 2020 census. I think we're over 200,000 people right now.
I heard 190,000, but you think over 200,000?
Yes, because you're always looking in arrears. So right now our official estimate's 189,344. That's the official estimate.
Thank you, Mayor.
But that is the estimate because it's always looking in arrears. That's as of July 1st, 2017.
Yeah.
And we've been growing by about 5,000 a year. So we're already there.
Yeah.
And I would bet, looking at how crowded our roads are, quite frankly, that we're over 200. So we'll see how that comes out. But clearly we're growing. The economy is growing. Values are up. Unemployment, is down.
Yeah,
it's really low. The economy is growing. Median household income is growing. So kind of all the things that we look to, engaging the health of a community is moving in the right direction. We're on the right track.
Yeah.
Life is about continuous improvement, and that's what you should think about city building and community building. is you're never really there, because once you get to that next milestone, you should be looking for the next one, right?
Even in business, we do the same thing. You know, we want to achieve such a goal at the end of this year, but next year I want to increase that.
Yeah, the second you think you've made it, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about business. From your point of view, what has been the impact on our audience of folks interested in entrepreneurship and having their own business, either now or someday having their business? What do you see that's happened in terms of the growth of the community for that person that is perhaps looking to maybe become an entrepreneur and start their own business? Is it saturated now, do you think, Mayor, or are there opportunities? Is the city making it easier or putting up barriers? What's your assessment for the small business person who either is thinking of getting in the business or is just starting getting in the business?
Well, Dr. Jack, you know, this is not scripted, and you are asking questions that are going to reveal that I'm really kind of an old school values, principles person. What I'm going to say is that there's nowhere near saturation. Historically, the city is under retailed, under commercialized development. Because we were a bedroom community platted by General Development Corporation, where they, back in the 60s, did the stereotypical land deal and did 80,000 quarter-acre single-family lots. And traditionally, our trade area has been dominated by the Jensen Beach portion of the market. But now that's changing with tradition. So, and our population's growing, and our economy's growing, and you know, the available money that entrepreneurs could tap into is growing. So the world is their oyster, but what I always like to tell people is, remember, life is not fair. Good guys do sometimes finish last. So it's really about what you make of it. I mean, there's always room for a motivated person with the right concept, be that whether it be a product or a service. But you have to make it happen. And I find that success comes from preparation and hard work. Right? So I always preach working hard. What's better than working hard, and working smart. And what's better than that is working hard, smart, and together. And so we did talk a little bit in the lobby, and you said, Greg, you know, as mayor, what have you seen? Well, as mayor, you get to see a lot. You know, I mean, I have an official job, right? I got to run meetings, I have to return phone calls and emails, and I have to sign certain documents. But at the end of the day, my job, I feel, is to help the people of Port Saint Lucie to live a better life. Hey, and just remember that even during the tough times, we were always pretty much the safest large city in Florida. Right? That we always. So we start with safety, and so the city's first job is just to provide an amazing quality of life, that we're safe, that the roads work, that the water works, that your garbage gets picked up. You know, that's our hardcore job. But I broaden it out and say, well, hey, as mayor, it's my job to help hardworking people who do the right thing try to get ahead in life and live the American dream. So how can I help people? And so people come to me all the time. And, you know, we see each other a lot at chamber events, you know, and the chamber is one of those resources. But what I see from the entrepreneurs out there is that they're so excited about the idea that they're not properly capitalized and they're not properly prepared. And the city can't necessarily give away money to help them with the capitalization, but what we try to help with is on the education.
Tell us about that.
So not only do we try to refer people who are interested to resources like the Chamber of Commerce and SCORE. Do you cover these? Have you done like episodes on SCORE, SBA, SBDC, IRSC, Center for Entrepreneurs? So, you know, I'm kind of like a matchmaker, you know, out there. And I'm like, oh, Dr. Jack, you're thinking about this. Have you ever heard of SCORE before? So, you know, we try to get the person to the right place because, you know.
Where would someone go? Do they go to
Dr.
your
Jack.
department? Do they go online, or what's the answer for the folks, Greg?
So, I'm always straightforward to a fault, and so I was looking on my schedule and I saw that we had our appointment today, and I didn't know the questions you were going to ask me until I looked at that appointment, and I spoke to my assistant Brandon. I'm like, Brandon, you know, this isn't the usual song and dance I do, you know. This is a business resource guide. This is the printout. You know, everything today is digital. I try to drive, as you know, because you've seen me speak a million times, I try to drive as many people as possible to our webpage, cityofpsl.com. because it's such a vault of information. It's so much there. One of the things that we have there, Dr. Jack, is our business resource guide. And so just boom, boom, boom. So one of the things that we have is our business accelerator program.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And so, we at the city, we have, and many cities have, community development block grant program, CDBG. And we get federal money that we can invest, especially in low to moderate income areas, to try to produce better results. And in addition to like housing rehab and things like that, we can use it for business. And what we've done is we've structured a partner, and we partner with Center State Bank. Thank you to them. Thank you to IRSC, Indian River State College, an Aspen Award-winning state college.
Exactly.
And we've created a program where we have a number of opportunities for education, Dr. Jack. So time management, dealing with difficult people, exceptional customer service, legal issues in the workplace, successful marketing with social media. We try to refer them here to the...
Now you know where to refer them. So from now on...
Talent search, recruitment and retention, management and supervision, sales. So you go through this course, and then at the end, we're actually going to select 10 winners to receive, thanks to Center State, they doubled our money, a $5,000 grant.
Oh, wonderful.
That can be used for, specific things that a business would need. So there's some strings that always come with money. Entrepreneurs should remember that there's nothing truly free in life, but grants come with some conditions. But after you go through the education, which is, I think cost $25 to sign up, you get all this professional grade education for $25, Dr. Jack, and then at the end you might win a $5,000 grant.
How?
So that's a direct way that we're helping. Of course, this program is coordinated by what we call our business navigator. So, so in the city of PSL, we have someone, Elijah Wooten.
Elijah's doing it. I've heard just wonderful things about Elijah and how helpful he's been. We have a number of small businesses, obviously, that make up TCoast Studio and our discount directory program. And they speak very highly of Elijah. So
that's good to hear. That's good to get that
plug in for that.
Entrepreneur's Corner.
Mayor, we're talking about how wonderful Elijah is, and to have a resource like that for folks in the community to go to. And I think that's, whether it's Elijah, he happens to be wonderful, but the position to have someone there to help navigate through. But one of the other things, just kind of as we summarize what we're talking about, you were talking about your experience that people really need to pre-plan and know what's ahead, and just don't jump in. They get an idea, say, geez, I'd like to open a pizza or a restaurant, or I want to open up a daycare facility. And you were saying to me that they've got to be prepared to do their homework ahead of time before they go and they sign on the bottom line for a year's rent at some locale. They better know whether you had said it's zoned correctly and the codes are there and all those kind of things. You also mentioned money in terms of just tell the audience a little bit about what your experience is in dealing with people to have the kind of correct capitalization to help them deal with the first year in their business. What's your experience there?
Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Jack. And I would want to, wherever they got that expertise from, and again, at cityofpsl.com, we have something called the Business Resource Guide. They can look this up. They can see our business assistance program. They can see Elijah Wooten's contact information. And then they can see that alphabet soup of SBDC contact, SBA contact, access to capital, SCORE, IRSC, all those resources, and they're better experts than I am. But let me tell you what I get as mayor. As mayor, I get the story of, Mrs. Smith, who worked hard her entire life, saved up $100,000 in cash, thought that she could open up a child care center, didn't meet with an Elijah Wooten, didn't do a business plan with SBDC or SCORE or through the Business Accelerator program, didn't ask if you need to have a certain zoning or land use, what the codes, that you have to have protectors, that fixtures have to be a certain height. Didn't know all those things. got so excited about, I'm starting my own business, my dreams are going to come true, got wrapped up in the fun part of the equation without doing the due diligence, and then got into a contractual relationship where she now leases or owns a house that now has to be renovated to a commercial code for children, and she didn't need $100,000, she needed $500,000, and it's too late at that point. We can try to mitigate, we can try to be there, but we can't overcome the fundamental break that she has not enough money and didn't go through like a business planning process to map out all these issues. And it, as mayor, it breaks my heart because I look at it as my job to help our people, and it's hard for me to help them. I can't undo that decision, which cost her life savings, and now she's going to have to go back to that hourly job she was only working to open up the business. And so the other thing I see, other than like the Miss Smith with the child care facility, is Dr. Jack, wanted a change of employment or was laid off from this business, and just thought that was the time to go into his dream of having a restaurant. Not realizing that it's one thing to invest in all the kitchen equipment, all the sunk costs, but it's a business where most fail, not succeed, and that you really needed to have a year or 18 months of operating costs. You didn't need the fancy refrigerator and range. You needed to have the money in the bank so that you could develop your customer base. I mean, just these fundamental things happens over and over again. Talk to Elijah, find out, hey, this type of business, which is really consulting or providing a service, not necessarily a product, I can do that from my house under these circumstances, and it only costs this much. And I could learn these skills and kind of bootstrap myself to where I want to go. That's what we need to work on. And we just have to do our preparation. So it's really, again, it's preparation and capitalization. I see time and time again. And you'll find, I think, that if you prepare and you have the right concept, and not everyone will. That's life. Remember, life's not fair sometimes. The good die young, nice guys finish last. Life's not all the time fair. But if we prepare, then more often than not, we're going to set ourselves up for success, and we're going to be able to either bootstrap ourselves, and when the time is right, find capital. And if I could, I know we're running out of time, I just want to share, we always like in America, we love that business that starts in a garage, and we have that in PSL. So Expert Shutters is a storm shutter manufacturer.
Yes, I know them,
Started in PSL.
Did they really?
Just won a state award, the Manufacturers Award, and they are one of the best in manufacturing storm shutters. And they're located right here in PSL. And they started in a garage in Port St. Lucie.
They have a big operation.
They have a big operation, beautiful facility. I mean, it's a warehouse, it's a manufacturing warehouse, but it's really nice. And of course, it has nice shutters on it. And it's right there off the turnpike in our Biltmore Macedo area.
Macedo, sure. I've been there.
The Heisenberg family, they started in a garage in Port St. Lucie, and now they have tens of thousands of square feet in a beautiful facility, and they're being recognized on the state and national level.
How wonderful is that?
How wonderful. We got another one. They're about to open up a brand new facility in the LTC industrial area off of Midway, A&G Concrete Pools. Art and Sandy Allen and Travis Leonard, they started in a garage in Port St. Lucie. They're a top 50 pool builder in the country. In the country. They're a top 50 pool builder, and they build not just really nice residential pools, but they build the commercial pools that other people can't. They build the one on the top of the 50-story building. They build that wild and crazy lagoon water park pool. They can do it all. They started in a garage in Port St. Lucie, and they for a long time they've operated off of US 1. And now they're going to a brand new, beautiful facility out in the LTC industrial area. But there again, top 50 company nationally, started in a garage in PSL. So it's possible. If you have that dedication, you can start in a garage, and then someday you may find yourself building your own brand new facility. And your city will be with you from that whole life cycle.
From your lips to God's ears, that TCoast Studios is going to be out of
Amen.
here, and we're going to have our own magnificent facility.
That sounds good.
In Port St. Lucie. And,
That's right. Right now we're unincorporated St. Lucie County, just for the record. Hey, St. Lucie County.
But we will get into, so we can have you as our mayor. We're going to build our facility.
I'll be your mayor wherever
Okay,
you're
buddy.
at.
That sounds like a plan. I told you this is a very special human being, and he truly is. He really loves and cares for the people and for the city of Port St. Lucie, and I think you got an idea as to the wisdom that His Honor brings to us and brings to you, our wonderful audience. Listen to what he said. It's words of wisdom, and I've seen people that have complained about Port St. Lucie being tough. No, they didn't do their homework. They didn't do what Mayor Oravec is telling us or recommending to us. So a lot of times when we hear complaints, I love that one about, when you start pointing the finger at someone, three come back. So before you start complaining about the city of Port St. Lucie,
that's a good one.
Look at yourself, because God made us in a very special way. When we go like that and say, Greg, you fouled up, the city of Port St. Lucie messed up, more than likely, you didn't do those things that, Mayor Oravec is suggesting. So, but the opportunity's here. This is a fantastic community. We're thrilled to live here on the Treasure Coast, and in particular in Port St. Lucie, under the leadership of a professional such as His Honor Greg Oravec. Greg, thank you so much. It's a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the very best.
You and my mom are my biggest fans. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
You've been listening to Entrepreneur's Corner, a talk show that interviews entrepreneurs of the Treasure Coast and gets valuable insight to their secrets for success and the story of their business. Sponsored by DiscountDirectory.net and TCoast Studios.
Are you looking for more customers? We've developed a highly effective state-of-the-art online local directory to promote discounts and deals from local business owners. Introduce yourself and share a special incentive for local residents on DiscountDirectory.net.
Shop local, support local, save local. DiscountDirectory.net